Alright, I'm making this video on rebuilding your engine. I'm doing a Cummins, but this goes for any engine. I don't care if it's a lawnmower engine. I have a lot of people, I've had numerous people tell me that they put new bearings in their motor and it locked up or it's knocking or something like that. I said, did you plastigage it? They say, what's plastigage? And I've had a couple people ask me that, which I can't believe. But, anything's possible. Some people just guess that bearings should fit right because you bought the right size from the parts store. Never put together an engine with... Never put any bearings in an engine without plastigaging them. Plastigage is what tells you how much clearance you have between your crank and your bearing. You have to have the perfect amount of clearance between the crank and the bearing so oil can get in there and keep it lubed. If it's too tight, it can't get oil in there and your motor's gonna lock up. If it's too loose, then your motor's gonna knock. If your motor was knocking already and that's why you decided to put bearings in it, you definitely have to measure it, and all of your crank lobes have to be perfectly smooth too. If it was already knocking, you're probably not going to get away with just putting bearings in it. Most likely the crank's going to need to go to the machine shop and be turned and undersized bearings put in there. I don't make YouTube videos that much. I make a couple here and there when I got some time to help people. I don't really even have any plastigage. I've got an empty thing of plastigage and I have a piece of wire, so I can show you. Inside of here there will be, oh look, there's a little tiny piece. There's a little itty bitty piece, right? That's plastigage. Kind of like this piece of wire, but smaller. That is what you put, let's say your cranks, this all has to be clean too, no oil on this. When you get done plastigaging it, then you want to put your assembly lube and oil everything. But this has to be done totally dry and clean. So your bottom bearing, like I said, cheesy video, I'm not gonna show you how. Okay, let's just pretend that's the crank right there, right? You put that piece of plastigage, it'll be about over here. It's not gonna be right in the middle. See where the rod is? Straight up and down. You want the piece of plastigage about right here, okay? So that is measuring up and down, play and oil clearance. An engine only knocks from up and down. It doesn't knock from this way here. This would be side to side. Motors don't knock from that. It's when it goes up and down. That's where you get knocking from. That's where rods get egg-shaped and, you eventually throw the rod through the side of the block and ruin your whole motor. All right, so your piece of plastigage right here, that piece of wire wouldn't stay there, but let's just pretend it's right here. And your bearings on there. And then you put your, I don't even know where the hell the rod cap, oh, there it is over there. You put your rod cap on. Like I said, clean. Mine's not clean, but put your rod cap on, right? Torque it all down to the torque specs. As soon as you torque it, take it right back off. Okay? You take it right back off. Take that rod cap back off. Take out your lower bearing with it. Now, your piece of plastigage is going to look kind of like that piece of, like that oil right there. It's going to be smashed. It's either going to be smashed flat, or if it's not smashed, that means your motor's going to knock. Alright? Take your plastigage. Like this is red plastigage for, bigger motors like these Cummins. They have wider oil clearance. If you're doing smaller engines or 350s, something with tighter clearances, you will get the green plastigage. See, a lot of people don't know about plastigage because auto parts stores keep this shit in the back. You know, they don't have it out front for everybody. You have to ask them for it. It's only like $1 or something. Now see, these Cummins, for example, has to be between 0.00. Oh shit! Yeah, look at other. One side has millimeters, other side has inches. Now these Cummins have to be between 0.002 and 0.003. What you can see, my piece of shit phone won't focus, but there you go. And you see the widest one. See the widest red one's 0.002. If it was any wider than that, so you know how you just stick this up here and see, you can measure how wide it is. If it was any wider than 0.002, that would be too tight, which means it would lock up. It needs to be between 0.02 and 0.03 for this motor. All engines have different specs. If it was, 0.006, that means the motor's going to be knocking. And it ain't going to last very long before it blows up. I don't know what else. That's just a major mistake that I see people doing. And they're thinking they're rebuilding their engine, and they're fucking up because they could have spent the 2 extra minutes that it takes to measure that oil clearance and make sure everything is perfect. You don't have anything to worry about when you go to start it and like, oh fuck, let's hope it don't blow up, or let's hope it runs. You don't have to worry about that stuff when you make sure you measure every damn thing. And another thing is torque specs all have to be perfect. Do not use a Harbor Freight $30, $20 torque wrench to build an engine. It's just stupid. I've compared those cheap-ass torque wrenches with the Snap-on, and all the torque specs are different. I mean, they can't even get 2 bolts in the same. So make sure, if you don't own one, go borrow one from somebody or something. Use a good torque wrench to put together an engine, and have a book or get the specs off the internet. That's one of the major, most important things. And like when I put in rod bolts, I put Loctite on them and torque them. I make sure there ain't no damn way they're coming loose. Even if they were loose, they still couldn't fall out because of that damn Loctite on them. I mean, not that that would happen, but just little shit like that. People trying to rush it, and you just ended up wasting tons of your time and all kinds of your money and ruining your pride. You probably won't never want to try to rebuild an engine again after that, And it's just little mistakes like that, little tedious shit that you gotta pay attention to that's gonna fuck you. I mean, I've learned all this shit the hard way. That's why I'm making a couple videos, let people know the mistakes I see and the ones I've made myself. As long as you stick to doing stuff like that, measuring every part you put together, doing it right, you don't have nothing to worry about. You know damn well your engine's gonna run. And if there is some problem, it ain't because of the way you put it together. It's something else. Hope that helps you guys. Thanks.